think I'm live on Substack. Gotta make sure we get everybody live here. Welcome to the show. You get to watch us as we get ready for the show to start in about 1 minute.
Un
Just
minuto.
a minute. Un minuto.
Un minuto. Un minute.
Just I was gonna say it in French because that would be interesting.
Minute.
Oh, 5 minutes.
It sounds like I'm having a seizure. Un minute. It sounds fun. I love
Are
me
we
some
live
French.
on Substack? That is the important thing here. Are we live on Substack as we have promised the people?
Hola, Substack.
Hola, Substack. We're kind of live everywhere, I think. I'm excited to talk about some stuff today. There's the news that we came out was like
Which
all
news,
over
Andy?
the place yesterday.
The IndyCar news?
People were IndyCar, Formula One. I mean, there's like so much stuff going on now. All right, are we live on? Thanks for bearing with us, people. Whoever is watching, thank you. Because you know, technology is what technology is.
Technology is awesome.
All right, we are live on. There we go. We're live on the LinkedIn. The LinkedIn folks. The LinkedIn folks are watching us.
I have to say something.
Over on X.
In the last 2 years, I think LinkedIn has become one of my favorite sort of social media platforms.
Oh, I love it. I mean,
yeah, I used to be
it's where we've done the best things, right? Like
we've done the best things.
We've got all the work and
But I used to be like sort of like meh, whatever. I think it's like actually quite good. I do kind of like it. Although I saw something interesting fact that you may not know, that of any social media platform, the one that has the most AI produced content by far is LinkedIn. But it's not even close, like the amount of AI content. Like there's a lot of AI slop for sure.
I think
LinkedIn.
people are just trying to be like you know what it is? Everybody wants to be a thought leader or an influencer or like whatever it might be. And I think LinkedIn offers an ability for it to still feel professional.
I guess, yeah.
Right. So you go on there in hopes of like, all right, I'm going to get I'm going to start getting jobs, or I'm going to start getting clients, and I'm going to go talk professionally all of a sudden.
Yeah,
and
people want to get the web summit, and they want to be invited to be like, especially because I'm very much in sort of, I think that there's different sort of silos in LinkedIn, and I'm very much in the advertising, marketing, sort of that sort of silo. I'm very pigeonholed in there.
Yeah.
You have no idea how many thought leaders are putting out stuff constantly. And I swear I feel it's because they want to get invited to be like a judge in Cannes or speak at Web Summit or
yeah, of course.
Design Director of the Year Awards judge. And they put out stuff, they're churning out stuff constantly. So there's a lot of
Siamo d'accordo, as we like to say.
We like to say two things, Vincenzo and I. Siamo d'accordo and siamo due. Siamo due, Vincenzo. That's two of us.
Thanks for everyone hanging out with us at the beginning of our little bit of pre-show banter as we make sure the tech works. This is our first live show for the business of speed. We've got a nice show for you. The big news, we have IndyCar, the Freedom 250. The numbers that came out of that were tremendous. We also have some Formula One news where there is stuff going around talking about the viewership drop off, which I think a lot of us expected with the move to Apple, but it's suddenly dramatic and everyone's like, look at these numbers. We're going to put a little bit of context behind those numbers.
Yeah.
If you follow me, you've probably seen the stuff that I've posted. We've posted on Business of Speed, clarifying a little bit, but we're going to talk about that in the show. We had Lali at Markham. We've got Red Bull securing Max Verstappen through 2030. Woody Johnson, New York Jets owner, bought into Aston Martin. So we've got to talk about that.
He likes green, apparently. We'll talk.
I mean, who doesn't, right? We've got some more IndyCar talk about their 2027, 2028 product coming out, or chassis, the car itself, also their fuel. Formula E added Disney. Disney's got actually quite a bit on this show because
Yeah.
Disney and Max Verstappen have something going on. A little bit about TWG and Cadillac and the whole shenanigans happening with them, but we've got quite a bit on the show.
It's not gonna
I
be
want to lead
linear.
off.
I just wanna tell
No,
people it's
this
not
is
gonna be
not linear at all.
linear. This is very sort of organic, and, this is basically you guys watching Vincenzo and I when we have a FaceTime call.
So we're gonna
like
talk. We're gonna go right into Lali at Markham because Lali was at Markham, which was 2 IndyCar races ago. But Lali got to go to Markham. Markham, which I didn't realize how close it was to Toronto proper
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
until Lali said, "I'm jumping on the metro to go
Yeah.
to it." You talked. What was the experience like? Because that was the first time it was in Markham, right?
It was the first time, so I'll tell you something, I was a little bit, like, I don't know, I would say, like, not super pleased about the change because we're so used to the past location in Toronto. It's right
Mm,
downtown. It's in a place called Exhibition Place in Toronto that is just right now there's our yearly fair called the X actually. So we're just very used to it. We know it, the layout, perfect. So I
I
was
love
very sort of
X,
yeah, oh, there you go. So I was very sort of
formerly Twitter.
what is what is this gonna look like? Are people gonna go? And then unfortunately, and this is sort of the unfortunate part, leading up to the race, the
Mm,
track isn't going to be ready. A lot of people went to the track on Friday and obviously took days off, took their kids, etc., to show up, and there were no cars on track on Friday due to the track just not being finished and safety situations, which of course are paramount. We don't want cars on track if there
no.
aren't tire barriers if it's not built. So there was a lot of sort of negative press, and then Saturday and Sunday arrived, and the race was fantastic. It was so easy to get to. Once you got off the what we call here the GO train, you're basically inside the track. So it's already
Mm,
couldn't be more convenient. The trains were coming every half hour, was incredible. The track itself was very fast. You'll hear all the drivers say they felt like they were at the Four Seasons basically because they've never raced on a track that was 100% fresh asphalt. It was
ooh, okay.
pristine. So that was quite nice for them. And Vince, in terms of like hanging around the paddock and the media center, oh man, it was so nice.
Yeah,
I wanna shout out our friends at Honda Racing. They were very kind to me. I got all my meals thanks to
at the
Honda.
Honda Center.
I got such I was well fed
Yeah.
thanks to our friend Chuck Shivsky and the people at Honda. It was quite nice because at the media center you get like cold pizza and some awful Danish. So this was like proper.
Hey,
You would
hey,
have
hey,
enjoyed
hey,
it.
hey,
Little
hey.
Americanos.
Let's
Okay.
be nice to the IndyCar media people that are putting it together. Those media
They're
centers.
lovely. But this was like I got like I don't know, like meat and pasta with fungi, and it was quite the delight. I got to hang out actually for a bit with our good friend Chip Ganassi at Chip Ganassi
Yeah,
Racing. That was
that's
great.
right.
Like what a organization they have there. It was so nice, and just seeing I really enjoyed seeing the fans have such access to the drivers. So anywhere you are in an IndyCar paddock, you're going to see there goes Will Power, there's Pato Award, look at Santino Ferrucci. So that doesn't happen in an F1 paddock. So amazing experience for the fans to be in such close proximity to their drivers. They can be, if you have the paddock pass, I think you can be in pit lane at a certain time. Really incredible experience. The race is locked in there for a few years. This was just sort of year one. I'm certain that problem with the track will never happen again now that they've figured it out. All in all, Vince, incredible experience. As you know, IndyCar is my baby girl, and it was just really nice to see the birth of a new race for the first time. It was great.
What do you think was the most surprising thing from a view?
Mm.
I mean, you've been a lifelong fan, so
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you, maybe
yeah.
the perspective is different, and it's in your backyard.
I'll be honest. I think the
But like,
most
what was the
surprising
most surprising thing?
yeah, I think that fail with the hairpin, which it made
That
for
was
very
wild.
I don't know why nobody could have foreseen that somehow. I don't know if when they were racing it on the sim, I have no knowledge of what happened when they were racing it on the sim. That it was just wild,
Mm,
but there is something about it that I think it's going to become one of the iconic turns because it's so chaotic. It's so crazy. It's like throwing some marbles at a corner or something. So I do think that was a little bit of oh my gosh, what the heck is this? Other than that, I was surprised the track was very fast. I was surprised how much the drivers actually liked it, and that everyone was quite open to the change. Nobody was like, oh damn, now we have to be in Markham. Like everyone was quite open and receptive to it. So that was quite nice.
You know what? I'm pumped that it went as well as it did, especially after, again, I was only watching from the outside, and it was like all that absolute like pandemonium early. People are like, how can this not be ready? What are we doing here? I can only imagine. Now I'm gonna kind of go a different direction with this, but I can only imagine what will happen if Madrid is not ready.
Gasp.
Right? The Formula
Gasp.
One. I mean, it is, and this is not to pit one against the other. I think it's happening across series, right? The tracks aren't ready. They're trying to do things, and of course, it's also, they're both street tracks or city circuits, right? Markham is
it's an active city.
Madrid is in a city. They're new races. They're not ready, right? Things don't happen as quickly as they do. Do you think that, and we talked to Jarno Zaffelli on our show, who helped build, or at least in the early stages of the Madring, and he said, the reason why you're going to see more street circuits pop up, city circuits pop up, is because of what they do for the brand, right? The brand of Formula One, the promoters, they don't have to, they're not spending as much money to build a purpose or to put together a purpose-built track. You can sell something other than, this really cool track in the middle of the forest, of the Ardennes forest. Now, that's no shot on Spa, because I think Spa is still a mecca, but it's getting harder and harder to sell that, right? For these newer fans. And this is across the series. This is a cross series now, because everyone's fighting for the younger eyeballs. So I guess I'm curious, what do you think will happen if Madrid's not ready? What are we going to hear?
Firing squad. That's I cannot even imagine what would happen. Like, I heard even with the Markham track that obviously the captain, Mr. Roger Penske, was not very pleased with Savory Green, the promoters of the race. Like that it was chaotic. I can't imagine under any Vincenzo, there is not a scenario in my brain that could even fathom that track would actually not be ready, and that they couldn't do they couldn't do the race. Like, I can't even go there, because imagine the financial, economic, commercial repercussions of that track not being ready, and just what it costs to get the cars there, to get the teams there, to set up there. I think it's too big to fail kind of thing. I think we're at that point, Vinci. I can't even foresee.
They also can't afford
happening.
Formula One. Also, based, we saw the Q2 results, and the Q2 result. I'm accounting. It's all accounting, right? Like, they only ran 5 races versus 9 last year, so of course the numbers are going to look worse. Again, people reading headlines, "Oh my God, Formula One's falling apart," blah blah blah, and we'll go into some of the numbers in a moment as well. But I think the entire series, Liberty Media, Formula One, they can't afford to have another race not happen.
Absolutely
right?
not.
So it will happen. It's a few weeks away. There's cars on the track.
We saw Carlos Sainz. But also I think that what I heard, and please take this with a grain of salt, what I heard is that the track itself is ready. The safety things are in. It's more like grandstands, hospitality things, sort of the perimeter of the fan zones. It's that kind of stuff that they're polishing together in the next, they have 3 weeks, I think. But the actual track itself is raceable apparently right now. So yeah, I don't know.
We shall see. I mean, I have no idea.
If you think about it, though, hospitality blocks, that's how they make a lot of money. So they actually really do need those to be up and running, because they've probably sold millions of dollars worth of hospitality for that race.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, there's a lot of things I'm seeing, and I know we're switching over to the Madring, and we were talking about Markham, but I think it's all very similar, right? In terms of who these series are trying to attract, who the series are trying to go after, who the series are speaking to, and newer audiences that want to like do these new, cool, fun experiences, which I think Madrid, who doesn't want to go to Madrid?
Yeah,
It's a
of
great city, right?
course, of course.
Uh,
Like
they
that's
just need
yeah,
to.
yeah.
No, go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
no, I was just gonna say that's key because what you do is you sort of compound it with a trip. You want to go to Madrid anyway, so perhaps you wait until the Grand Prix and then you go and then you spend an extra
Mm,
week in Madrid and you spend your tourism dollars, right? That's sort of
yep.
the hope that these cities have, and I think that's what Jarno was implying also on our podcast was like it's not just that oh we have a race in a city, it's like what that means to the city because people will inevitably stay for a few more days on the back end or on the front end and spend their
Yeah.
money there. So
Yeah, for sure. No, for sure. I think the race too, like what I'm seeing from a hospitality perspective, Formula One can't add more. Like they only have so much premium hospitality they're able to sell, right?
yeah,
With Paddock Club and the what is it, Open 44 or whatever the other club is called, the 44.
I don't
So
know.
there's only so many of that, right? And they're sold out. Domenicali has said they're sold out through I think like 2028, which is
Yeah,
insane.
it's
So
crazy.
the
It's
only way to
absolutely
do it
nuts.
is to build like another level on these paddock clubs, like literally more square footage in these paddock clubs, or create new experiences. And we're seeing more experiences be created. We saw one at Spa where they quite literally put a glass box on the back of a truck and drove people around the circuit for 2 hours
Ooh.
eating food, eating dinner. It was like a $14,000
Per
plate
person?
per person.
Opa.
And it was, Michelin star chef. Uh, there was a host. Oh, similar to what you would do if you were like going to a new city and you're getting on the city bus and there's a
Yeah,
host
yeah,
like
yeah,
telling
yeah.
you that's what it was. You had like David Coulthard or
The double
Arun
decker.
Shandak that were like leading the dinner or like hosting the dinner and talking like, here's
Oh,
the iconic corner. Here's something that happened at this corner. I'm sure that the bus or the truck wasn't moving the whole time. I didn't look too deeply into the
but
actual
still, that
logistics
sounds
of it.
fun.
But again, trying to create new experiences is what they have to do. And I think on a city circuit or in a city track, you have more opportunity to do things like that because there's just a lot more to talk about inherently. And, it's a new track, so there's no racing history on it, but you have
Yeah,
history of the city itself. And
of
we're going to be
course.
coming through this corner at 200 miles an hour. That corner is, whatever.
You just
So
reminded me of
there is a
something
lot.
at Markham that I hadn't seen before. Certainly, I never saw it at the Toronto race. Arrow McLaren had like its
Mm,
own sort of. They had a hospitality zone that was removed from everybody else,
yeah.
and it had on the roof like a grandstand that you could
Mm,
see the back stretch of it looked really awesome, and I was actually all the whole weekend I was on the lookout for Tony Kanaan, who I maintain was not there because I did not see him, to try to get myself into that
yeah.
hospitality because it looked really, really cool, and no other team had something. So they certainly had a special deal. Like it was like a like the hospitality guys often is sort of like a container of sorts. But
Mm,
this had like a its own little McLaren
yeah.
grandstand. It was quite nice. And when you said that about Madrid, it made me think about unique hospitality opportunities and how
I
there's
think there's
so
so
much.
much. Yeah.
Well, we experienced it. Maybe we could talk about this for a bit. We experienced a very, very unique hospitality in Miami
Mm,
through the Concours Club, which wasn't
yeah.
an F1 team. It was a separate entity, a private
Just yeah.
club that created the most incredible structure you guys can imagine at the racetrack with a lot of real estate on the Miami campus.
Oh, yeah.
So there's also that sort of opportunity for private people to buy hospitality and then
Well, and I think what you just said is actually key to a lot of this, right? Because uh, great that's a great segue because the Concourse Club is an actual club for automotive enthusiasts. It's like a country club for people who like cars, and more than just like cars, that own a lot of cars and want track time. And it's a very fascinating club. But the experience they provided was seamless, because you would go to the club in the morning, to the actual club, which was in Opelika at the airport, the executive airport. You would go there, start your day with, I mean, phenomenal breakfast, right? Not just like Danishes and stuff. I mean, phenomenal breakfast, meats and omelets and all sort of drinks, the whole bit.
Vincenzo would come up and then come back with like this omelet made from heaven, I think, right? Like crazy.
I mean, it was, yeah, they were whipping things together that it was like, all right, thank you. I mean, I'm not going to say no to this. And the seamless aspect of this that I was, bringing up was that you left the club, you got in a shuttle bus, like, right? They had shuttle buses show up regularly. Every 15 minutes, there's 2 or 3 buses ready. So you're never really waiting. And it took you to the Hard Rock facility.
Yeah.
Dropped you off at, entrance 2 or whatever the entrance was. And you walked pretty much right into the club. You walk through security, one security area, and then you're pretty much right there. I think we went over some stairs and you're in.
Less than right there. 7-minute walk, like 5-minute walk.
No traffic. We hit no traffic because it was a separate entrance. And we were thinking to ourselves, this is the way to do it, right? This is how you really do this right. You go from an off campus facility, you get shuttled everyone in, and then the experience inside the club that was on site, was almost exactly what I just came from, right? There was more food, more meat. Obviously, it was like even more elevated, but you felt like you were just going from one zone to another of the same place. Now there happens to be a racetrack in front of me and cars going around. And the people, anyway, that is where we see experiences going. Like, you have to do something different, and the networking that was happening in there was
incredible. I do want to be gracious to our host, Heighton Holding Company. They brought us out. They hooked us up with this. It was like really, really an exceptional experience. I think that Vincenzo and I have been very lucky to have quite a few on-track experiences throughout the years and a different series. This was something of another level, really. Like, like you said, it was basically the same experience at the club, almost even better, because now there's a Formula One race happening in front of you, and zero stress. You didn't have to park. You didn't have to worry about anything. You knew that you could leave at any point because the shuttles were going nonstop. Pretty incredible. I want to quickly acknowledge, our friends. I was gonna say
our friends at Turn 14 asked us about the Madring and just said, "Hola, I keep seeing the Madring isn't ready. Is that true?" I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that we saw your comment. I mean, if it's almost there, if they got 3 more weeks, they're going to just work really hard at it, I think. And it'll be, we will, I believe we will see Formula One action on that track.
100%.
At the proper time.
Friends from Turn 14, it would be the shock of a lifetime. I'm convinced it's ready. I'll just repeat what I said before, just for them. What I hear is that sort of more the facilities, the grandstands, the hospitality suites, that's what's now the final push, that the track itself is ready to go. It's
the final countdown. Cue Europe. Final countdown.
It's the final countdown.
No. that was interesting. All right. IndyCar. Back to IndyCar. Let's go. Let's get back to our IndyCar
Let's do it.
Because I think this is a story that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
IndyCar built another city street circuit in Washington, D.C.
Yep.
The Freedom 250. The numbers came out yesterday, averaged 3.282 million viewers on Fox, with a peak of over 3.4 million, which is the largest audience for a non-Indy 500 race since before unification.
That's nuts.
Between CART and Indy.
Which was in 2008, by the way. So that's like insane. That's crazy.
Since 2008, 16 years, or more than that, right? Yeah, 18 years. Sorry.
18 years.
18 years. For 18 years, this is the top race since or non-500 race. What I found extremely telling,
Yeah.
or what I find extremely telling, I think there's a bigger story here. I'm going to let you kind of take it away after I just mentioned this comment. There's IndyCar is averaging 15 races, 1.875 million. They are up 32% over 2025. That, I have to get the exact NASCAR number. I believe it's still slightly below NASCAR on the year, but that is over Formula One's number for sure. And now we don't even get Formula One numbers anymore, so we can't even.
We don't even know. We can't even
in real time. But if we go based off of last year's number in Formula One, it's ahead of that. What do you think, or what do you see as this trend? This, like, what's happening with IndyCar right now? We could talk a little bit more about the race itself too, because I think it was an incredible spectacle.
I have Alex Palou and Scott Dixon.
But let's talk about it.
So Alex Palou and Scott Dixon are here to prove my love of IndyCar. So I don't think it's a secret that this is like I said earlier, it's my baby girl. I love this series so much from a very, very young age. And I've always sort of called it Cinderella because it kind of lives in the shadow of the stepsisters. So to see numbers like this to me is phenomenal. The fact that the series is growing, it's in total growth mode. I've always maintained Vinci. I've said it on the air. I've said it. We talked about it with Chip Ganassi. We talked about it with Will Buxton. I talked about it with James Hinchcliffe. The problem is an education problem. If we can get people to watch an IndyCar race and to understand the product and what it is we're doing, and let go of the comparison to Formula One, because it's not Formula One, because if not, it would be called Formula One. It would just be an additional 25 cars racing over there. So
it's better than that senator from Milwaukee that apparently doesn't know the difference between IndyCar and Formula One. So
there you go. So that says it all. So the fact that we have different sort of open wheel cars, like if you look at a Formula E car, they're also open wheel, right? So we have different cars in different series. So the problem I've always maintained is an education and marketing problem. So if we can start addressing that, if we can start educating people on what IndyCar is, that it's not some a Busch League series, that it is world-class, that we're racing at world-class tracks with top drivers. I always say a lot of these drivers grew up racing with the guys that are in F3, F2, F1. They just not enough seats for everyone, guys. Not everyone can be in Formula One. There are 22 seats in Formula One. That's it globally.
Yep.
I maintain Formula One is the most elite job on planet Earth, because no other job, there's only 22 people that do it, full stop. So if we can't compare it to that. So IndyCar really benefited in this race from the marketing push. The race was super well marketed. I sent you a photo. I have a cousin in New Jersey who quite literally does not know a NASCAR from a MotoGP bike from an IndyCar. Like this.
Shout out, Andrew.
Shout out to Andrew. He knows nothing. And doesn't he send me on Sunday a photo? He made himself some wings. He's got his celery. He's got his ranch dip. And he's like, Freedom 250, let's go. Because it was so heavily.
Eagles flying, helicopter, chopper in the background, Creedence Clearwater Revival. Yeah, the whole bit.
Eagle going by. Like, so it proves the thesis that if the race is well marketed, people will tune in even out of curiosity. So it was the time of the day was great. A lot of factors sort of fed that. When if you were watching F1 on Sky, for instance, the last commercial before it ended was a plug for the Freedom 250. So there was a lot there was a lot put into it, and guess what? The numbers proved that it was worth it. So the proof is there that if we promote the series better, that if we educate people on the product, that eyeballs will find it. So I'm super pro just keeping up that momentum and keeping up the marketing and education efforts.
Yeah, I think the marketing, right? We've talked about this on the show. We've talked about this on We've written about this in the newsletter. We have talked about this with guests. We've talked about it on site at races. That is the number one challenge. It is the number one challenge. And what Chip Ganassi said to us, Zach Brown said also to the media, was that they believed, and I'm going to caveat this because I feel like we have to these days.
Okay.
Politics aside, they believe, those two gentlemen believed, and we know obviously Roger Penske feels the same way, that he put his money behind it, literally.
Yeah, quite literally, yeah.
This would help raise the profile for IndyCar and expose them to new audiences to help combat that post Indy 500, like, no one, I don't even want to call it a lull, because it's almost like you hit the Indy 500 and then no one even knows anything about the rest of the season, right?
Yeah.
There's that pre-Indy 500, you're like, okay, there's excitement.
There's a lot of hype, yeah.
And then after it, nothing. Marketing. I mean, Zach Brown was brought on to IndyCar to help them market the series, right? That was one of his goals, was to market the series better. We saw the FIA, who we know is now involved in the officiating end as a kind of like another party. They were sharing IndyCar, right? So like all of these things are happening. Again, they've got to combat the Indy 500 coma, so to speak, I guess if you want to call it that way.
Yes. That's a
good
food
coma, right? You eat, you gorge yourself on all this racing for a month of May, and then you're like,
but here's the thing that I've always talked about this too. Like, there's a lot of people who are very loyal to that race, specifically to the Indy 500, and it does get a lot of global press and a global attention. But I think that, and I'm just creating this in my head right now, as you said that, because I think that maybe that is a big reason why there's misinformation and people aren't educated, because they see that one race, so they think, oh, these guys only do ovals, because that's the only race that really gets global recognition. So the assumption is it's easily made that the guys only race on ovals, when, as we know, they're not only racing on ovals, they're racing on really great road courses. For instance, this year, the season ends at Laguna Seca, an iconic permanent road course. This week,
we've had how many people on our show say Laguna Seca is one of like the best tracks.
The best tracks,
that track, right?
So we're racing on streets, Long Beach, St. Petersburg. Now we're in Markham. Like, there's streets. We have short ovals. We have super speedways, permanent road courses, right? But I think because the Indy 500 gets so much attention, it's created this global misconception that we're only racing ovals on IndyCar. And I've just connected the dots. Maybe that's why, because it's such a famous race. It's like literally just dawned on me. It just dawned on me that that's why. There you go. Fancy
but
thoughts.
I have, there's a lot that I read, whether it's online, whether it's like people with their opinions or experts in IndyCar, and everyone just agrees, like, you got to fix your marketing. You got to fix how you market these racers. And I think Fox did a good job early on with, remember the Super Bowl commercials? With Newgarden and
so
Pato
good.
Award. Like, those were awesome.
Yeah.
But then it was like, okay, at least I haven't seen it.
Like, I haven't seen them either.
Okay, we did some great commercials, and then it kind of fell flat after that.
Yeah.
I want to see that level of intensity the whole year. Because you have to. You have to. Like NASCAR, it's pretty much the entire year they're running. Formula One, we know, is owning. And Formula One is going to become like the NFL. The NFL wants to own every single day of the week during the season. Formula One is going to, at some point, have something happening. They already really do every single month of the year. So for other motorsports, it's like you've got to do something to stay relevant and keep people, those eyeballs on your series. If they can fix the marketing and they can turn, they really need to focus on the talent, the drivers. People still know the drivers. I was going to say,
they don't know them.
Even and I'll stop it here. But I was watching a post. I was watching an IndyCar post on Instagram, and it was like the number 14 car has been blah 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 or penalized, whatever. It was Santino Ferrucci. I believe Santino's a 14,
Yeah,
right?
I think he's 14.
But I know that kind of, and even I was a little bit like, ooh, I'm not 100% sure. Most people don't know who the number 14 is,
I love that
right?
you're talking about this.
NASCAR does the same thing. Oh, the number 33, the number. Well, okay, cool. What about the driver's name? I get it. It could be a different driver next year,
Doesn't matter.
but how do you promote, like, you in Formula One? You're not like, oh, the number 44 and the number 16 or well, I don't know. So if when you're talking about trying to, you're bringing in an influx, like a new audience, great. You've got their eyeballs now. Start talking about these drivers like they're humans, because if they're just a number, it doesn't make sense, right? People that aren't accustomed to motorsport and understand how that works, they're like, huh? The number
Yeah.
14? What do you mean?
Especially
Now,
because
those
it's
of us that
newer
have been watching, it's
fans.
different.
Yes, of course. Like,
Yeah.
Scott Dixon is a 9, Alex Palou's a 10. We know that because we watch every weekend. But we're trying to get in new fans, and there's two problems with that. Not only that, but because of the business model in IndyCar, it's a regional model. You'll often see cars with different liveries at different races. So
Of course.
so you'll see this is Alex Palou in yellow. They have a big sponsor, DHL, so that's not going to change. But a smaller team, maybe pink one weekend, and then the following weekend it's green.
Yep.
So now you're looking for the pink car, it's gone, now it's green, and then they're referring to it as the number 14. It gets very confusing for the fans. I don't know how they solve that because of the regional sponsorship, but it's a known problem that IndyCar has with the changing liveries being referred to the numbers of the drivers, because people don't know. Like, we all know Lewis is 44. Okay, it's Lewis Hamilton. He's a 7-time Formula One world champion, right? Like, but for people
Maybe
to
does
know,
everybody know that? Does a new person know that?
perhaps not a new person, but I let's just say it's more likely than for somebody to know that Santino Ferrucci is the 14. Like, I don't know if that many people would know that.
Maybe.
It's a problem for sure. They always need to attach, I think, the name of the driver to the number, so that it's the number 8, and then in parentheses put the name of the dude, and then we start connecting the dots that that's whoever's driving the car. So yeah, and then they don't do the 100 Days to Indy show anymore, which I forced a lot of people to watch that show, and they really like the drivers. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I like this dude. I like it. Now I'm going to cheer for this guy. And that show didn't get picked up for a third season. And that was a shame, because that show really at least was building the personality of the drivers.
I think there's plenty of personalities they can show off. I believe there are plenty of folks, whether it's team owners, mechanics, engineers, obviously the drivers. There's a lot of personalities. You know,
Yeah.
you were in the paddock for Indy, but like even IMSA, right? Like you
Mhm.
walk through the paddock. We walked through the paddock at the Daytona 24 hours, and there's so many personalities. We met so many just like genuine people, the owners, which there's a lot of crossover with IMSA and IndyCar, which is why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, why couldn't there be something? It could feel more grassroots. It could feel more bootstrapped of of content series. Anyway, we could beat this one until we're blue in the face, but like I do believe that they can do a lot. There is a lot that IndyCar has to do, but this is a really good step. They need to carry the momentum now. Right
Yeah.
now, we're going to Milwaukee.
Double header.
Right. Let's hope that this takes off. Interesting story about Milwaukee. It's not even about Milwaukee necessarily. This is.
Is it
I
about
want to
beer?
segue into our next. No, I want to segue into our next story, which is about TWG and this.
Ooh.
So somebody brought this to my attention. I'm actually going to bring this up. Let me find the post. Someone brought this to my attention. So we know what's going on with TWG, which we'll talk about
Yeah.
in a moment, right? TWG has said that they're not selling their motorsport stake. And for those that don't know about what's going on with TWG owned by Mark Walter. Mark Walter is under federal investigations now because of how he's potentially moved money or he's classified money that was moved around between related companies of his. So
he's borrowed money from one company, perhaps
from one company to another, and this is insurance money, which is money people you and I give to an insurance company to hopefully have a policy that they can pay out on whenever we need it. There's nothing wrong with insurance companies investing money. There's absolutely nothing wrong. They have to do that in order to grow the base of money so that they can pay out. But it is a problem when regulators are like, cool, where did you invest this money? Oh, you gave it to a related company that you're also own.
Yeah.
But you didn't say that. Anyway, so there's all this situation. One of the things that's come light of that is, well, TWG Global is involved in almost all the motorsports, IndyCar,
yes,
supercars, Formula One with their partnership with GM, with Cadillac. And so last week, the statement from TWG was, we are not selling our motorsport properties. Now, Bob Pockrass had posted something. He said, TWG reiterated it isn't looking to sell its motorsport assets. So slight change, and shout out to Nicole on Racing here. And she said, not sure how much I trust TWG's statements. Somebody commented on that and said, it may be totally unrelated, but Will not running the TWG livery this weekend seems weird. And again, I'll go into why I'm talking about Milwaukee. There's a video that Andretti posted, and it's like they're wearing the TWG race overalls, or a t-shirt I think he had on, has the TWG on it, which is the sponsor. And then like camera flips to them wearing their Phoenix Investments outfit or race overall, race suit. And people are like, oh my God, does that mean that like TWG, they're taking them off the thing? And
isn't it owned by the same thing?
No, Phoenix is a regional sponsor.
Oh, okay, d'accord. There you go.
So Phoenix Investments is out of Milwaukee, a regional sponsor.
Okay,
it's just ironic that they took them, that they're coming off
it was at the light
of all the things that are happening.
The timing.
So it's timing, but it is funny because those regional sponsorships do matter, and they kind of throw people for a little bit of a loop.
Yeah. And sometimes you'll see like very small companies that put up a lot of marketing bucks for their one race because they have a lot of clout in the region, right? It's just unheard of, perhaps I've never in Formula One. Maybe once in a while you get like an additional sticker here or there, but it certainly doesn't change the delivery of the car. Yeah, the TWG thing is interesting to me. Certainly, Mr. and Mrs. Towers were loud and proud in DC. They're certainly not shying away from the spotlight. I'm hopeful that there's not a lot of shakeup, especially like at Andretti Global, because I would say it doesn't have the same resources that the Cadillac and GM sort of have combined together. But there's a lot there, right? There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of people quite upset. It's all alleged. We don't know. Apparently there's a lot of time. He has till December to figure this out. So one sale of the LA Dodgers and it all sort of gets put in the wash, and no problem. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, he sold the Lakers already, $12 billion or so, which was a very fast sale, right? There
very
was
fast.
It just happened. And then obviously more things have come out. There was a really good expose on Substack, a fellow Substack writer really went into depth about it. But yeah, it is interesting. You start to look at these ownership. Like, it's one thing that you think of, like you think of. You only think of the bad owners, right?
I guess
when you look at like a Force India or a Rich Energy or things like that, you're like, man, that was
Rich Energy, yeah.
But you never think that this like legit guy like Mark Walter and Guggenheim Partners and all of this is, you never think like anything shady's going. I mean,
I guess
you don't want to believe shady things.
You don't want to believe, but I think that I'm maybe I'm a little bit more jaded. It's like I think that I think we'd be naive to not think that there's so much shadiness happening at all levels in the world right now. When you get to a certain threshold of when we're talking billions, I think it's just very easy to get away with a lot of things until it's not. And I think that because people keep getting away with things. This is not about Walters, okay? This is just in general about
Of course, it's
business.
a general,
I just feel that when you've gotten away with something for a very long time, there's no part of you that thinks that you're going to stop getting away with it, right? Look at that the what's the guy's name? The big Ponzi scheme, the guy, the Bernie Madoff. Like, he got away with it so long. There was no part of him that thought he wasn't going to get away with it, right? So, and that was sort of fake money, so to speak, that he was giving people. This is actually, and by fake money, I mean, real people lost a lot of money in their life savings. So I want to acknowledge that it's not fake money. He was giving people returns that showed fake money returns. Walters isn't doing nothing like that. He's actually investing money in things that are probably making money and increasing the value of the initial asset.
Totally okay. Yeah.
It's totally okay. He's just doing it perhaps in a way that is not compliant to whoever is investigating him, right? So it's a different beast. But I think that we'd be naive to think that when we're talking about billions of dollars, that there's not shadiness everywhere that's happening. Like, we don't want to believe it, but it's happening. It just is. I think it's very easy to get away with things. I think there is a club of self-protection, and I just don't want to be naive to think, oh, I'm surprised it's happened. Am I super shocked? I'm not really super shocked. Like, I think that this one hits closer to home because it affects two series that I really love, IndyCar and F1, or doesn't affect, but is close to, is adjacent to series that I love. But I don't know if I'd say surprised in general of any wrongdoing financially in this day and age.
No. And I think the other part of this is that motorsport is putting more eyeballs on this kind of stuff. So if you are an owner who comes in and you're just like, you're doing, again, not saying that there was any wrongdoing, but if you are conducting kind of shady business at all, motorsport's not, it's not obscure anymore. We're not in this day and age where it's some obscure investment. This has become so legitimate and so many eyeballs are on it now. You're putting yourself in the crosshairs.
It's not investing in lacrosse. Like, now you're worth.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, of course not.
Big deal.
And so you have to, you have to consider that, but also the series, Formula One, when they allowed, and I say allowed because they had to vote it in, when they allowed that group to come in, you can see why someone like Toto Wolff was like, Now, the Andretti stuff aside, you can see why the owners and the team principals are like, you know what? We don't want any shady business.
I kind of do see it now. Exactly.
And adding more to it. Again, this is not to say that there was anyone knew anything or that Walter's done anything wrong per se, other than how it was filed, because again, we don't know 100% what was done yet. It's all coming out slowly, little by little. But it is, if I'm an owner, if I'm a team owner, I'm going to say, you know what? That guy's got some shady business dealings. That's going to ruin the health of my nut when the brand or the reputation of the whole series gets, thrown into that mix. And
I don't want to be tarnished by association. I don't want to be tarnished by association. We always say that, and I think you in your family used to say something similar, but it's certainly my mom used to say it to me. It's like, tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. So I could see a very, and again, we'd be shocked if we heard otherwise, but it seems like Toto Wolff is a very by the book sort of straight shooting kind of guy, right? That we not associated with any shadiness whatsoever that we know of at all. Could he be?
Like
yes,
you said,
of course.
Anybody could be, right?
Anybody could be. But as of recording today, we don't know of anything, right? So I could see how you'd be weary to let people into your little club that you don't know that much about, or who you perhaps have heard rumblings about, or we don't know what anybody knows about anyone. So sort of in hindsight, you're correct I hadn't thought about it. Perhaps there's also that hesitation of like, I don't know exactly who I'm letting into the club and what they stand for and what they represent and who's part of their network. So that's an interesting point, actually. I like that.
You are watching the Business of Speed show live with Vincenzo Landino and Lali Mikkelsen. This is number 1. This is our first show. So well, I can't even say if this is your first time joining us because this is your first time joining us for everybody. Please feel free to comment. We are also trying to mix in, comments and questions from the audience.
I have some lighthearted. Yeah, I have something lighthearted.
Yeah, come on in.
So I have a contact. I really hope he's or she is watching. Who works at MTC, at the McLaren Technology Center. And once in a while we chat racing, etc. And so this is very lighthearted, but I actually love this. Apparently, guys, by far the best cafeteria in Formula One is McLaren's. They have the absolute best breakfasts, followed by Red Bull. Alpine apparently is dog poop. And apparently, and this doesn't surprise me, Cadillac doesn't even have a restaurant. They have vending machines, which if you realize that they don't actually have a proper
American way
would make sense.
The American way.
So apparently until last year,
some Doritos from the snack machine, Jim.
Exactly. Until last year, if you worked at McLaren, you had to pay for your lunch. Now it's subsidized. And then like if you're a contractor that deals with all the teams, this is why we have this this is why I can tell you about all the teams, because it's someone that goes to a lot of the teams. And you will love to hear this. Ferrari. If you're a visitor at Maranello, you can't even afford to eat there because it's a Michelin star chef at Ferrari.
Yeah, it's great. It's real food. Yeah, and there's the beauty of not being in England, right? Like, just saying.
So McLaren, shout out to McLaren. Apparently their food is delicious. And you know what? It's meaningless, but it also meaningful, because this is something that Tony Kanaan talked about when he was on our podcast about the new Arrow McLaren facility, right? You want people to show up at work and be like proud of where they're showing up, right? To show up at work and be like, man, I'm going to have my delicious breakfast. He actually sent me a photo of this delicious breakfast he was having. Like, show up and have an incredible breakfast. There's an incredible gym for you to work out. Like, you're just like happy and to show up at work. If you're currently working at Cadillac, for instance, it's like one of those commercial parks. I don't know how to explain it. So it's like different sets of buildings. You could see why they don't have a kitchen, the cafeteria. You got to get a thing from the vending machine. Is that great for morale? Probably not. You're not like excited to show up there every day, right? So
yeah, and we've had conversations with some folks that said, it's still it's such a fresh operation.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I don't even want to go into detail because some of the things were very eye-opening for us to hear, but the operation with Cadillac right now, it is very much a bootstrapped startup. Like that is actually the words they use. Like, we're a startup.
That's why the vending machine comment didn't surprise me. I was like, this doesn't shock me because we've heard other things.
So you're right about morale. You're right. I mean, listen, the folks that work for these teams, it's beyond the drivers and the engineers and the team principals. Like, there's more than just the 7 or 8 people you might see on TV for any given weekend. There's thousands, hundreds of thousands, all race teams. This is not just Formula One, right? There's IndyCar teams. There's hundreds of people behind the scenes. Even, when you go down into like IMSA and whatnot, there's hundreds of employees, of team members, of like, you have to give them more. And like, it's cool to hear that though. But listen, McLaren, it doesn't shock me. They've spent a mint on that MTC. It looks like it's been used in movies. I mean, it's cool.
It's like the Bond headquarters over there, like MI6. It's so beautiful. By the way, there's a comment here from a celebrity. Her name is Amy. Maybe you recognize the name. And she really digs the pink you have behind you.
Well, the pink behind me is actually courtesy of her 2 signs. So
we're loving
thanks, Amy. We love the pink too.
We love the pink. So
it's a little too pink for my liking right now, but
we've gone for 2 vibes. Vincenzo's in we're calling basement pink, and I'm in like nice natural light Lux.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the studio here, so I decided like I wanted to give it a different vibe for the live show. So going with turning on the pink neon lights
I
was
love
just
it.
a vibe in the moment. And I don't know, maybe I'll
It's
turn it off
No, I do
for
love
next
it. It's like
show.
Alpine. Maybe you're giving Alpine some good vibes for
Alpine vibe. Is that what I'm getting?
Alpine vibes for Monza coming up. I want to talk a little bit because I've talked other places, but I haven't been able to actually talk about this with you. So I
Oh
really want to
boy.
talk about this with
I'm
you. No, no,
afraid.
no. Well, we were talking about
Nervous.
Cadillac. We were talking about Cadillac. So I
Yeah.
want to talk about Graeme Lowdon um, getting the boot. Can we call it getting the boots? So, certainly,
I mean, according to Dan Tauris, it was the boot. It was not a mutual decision. It was
I think according to
decision
everybody.
only.
And Dan Tauris was really wanting us to know that, actually. I don't know if that was sort of wanting to like show that I'm the boss here, but he quite frankly, as Vincenzo said, wanted everyone to know that it was his decision. So Graeme Lowdon started the team. I mean, yeah, it was in the initial stages of the team. He is someone known in the business. He's very well respected. He was never meant to be the long-term team principal. This was a known fact. He was sort of brought in for a phase one to get the team up and running and started. However, no one expected him to leave mid-season. So Marcin Bukowski, who they brought in, for people less familiar with that name, very well-known, proven commodity. He's an engineer by trade. He was at Ferrari during the Schumi years. He won also with Kimi, OG Kimi, as I like to call him, Kimi Raikkonen. He won with Lewis at McLaren. He was in Renault when it went to Alpine. So he is a known commodity, but he's been out of the sport for a bit. He's a pundit on Viaplay Poland. So there's lots of theories of did Marcin pitch himself to GM? Like that is actually a story that's out there. If Marcin actually actively pitched himself to GM and sort of got buy-in to bring himself on board, who knows? That's just hearsay right now. My question to you would be, it's not going to solve anything. Do you think it will? No. In my opinion, it's not solving anything. The team is already pretty much punching above whatever we thought. Like it's doing the 2%. So why do you think they made? Yeah, exactly. But it is sort of like, as a first year team, it's doing already way better than anyone expected. Really, if you look at HRT and Caterham and other teams historically, how poorly they've done. Why would Dan Tauris make this change, in your opinion? Obviously, just opinion. And do you think it will accomplish anything in the remainder of the season?
That answer is no. The back half of what you just said, no, I don't. I don't know why he would do it. Now, I will say this: there are some folks that I have spoken to, engineers that have worked in Formula One for decades, that were not surprised.
Yeah,
there were others that never thought that Graeme was the guy in the first place. I don't know Graeme well enough, right, to be like, oh yeah, I definitely know. I obviously don't know him like that anyway, to even give it an opinion of Graeme the man. I thought he was going to at least be given finish the season.
Yep.
It's always odd when in football, when you fire a manager. In NFL, you rarely do you see a coach fired mid-season, right? Like,
yep, same
shut
English
out Urban
Premier
Meyer
League,
with the Jaguars after 4 games. Like, you don't really see it because you've put together a project and you need to run that project for an entire season. At that point, making a change with the person who's supposed to be at the top of that pyramid is, destabilizing. Yeah, could be demoralizing. 100%. But on the flip side, could improve morale if that person wasn't liked, if that person wasn't succeeding. Now, again, success in the eyes of Cadillac is very different than we have to win races. At this point, finish a race. That's good enough.
That's the benchmark.
Well, but we knew that going into the season, and I think that's where my mind goes, is there was never any expectation for them do anything. Just getting a car to show up on the starting grid, just getting a car to run a lap around a track in your first year is a big enough deal for it to not be over the 107% time.
I think people forget that they're building every single. It's not like IndyCar where you're getting at least a spec chassis to begin with. These people in these Formula One teams are building literally like if you in your house try to build an F1 car, it's from scratch.
I mean, I would hope it's a little. I hope they have a little bit more tools in their toolbox than that. But
it's just as scratch can be. So there are these famous sort of stories in Hollywood lore about Orson Welles and other sort of famous directors that they would hire someone just to fire them on day one of the shoot, sort of to assert authority, and people would know I mean business. When Dan Towers was so adamant that it was my decision, it gave me that kind of vibe that it was like, don't forget who's in charge here. Don't forget who's in charge here. I got that vibe.
I mean, yes, which leads me to think that there's something else, right? We haven't really been given, there hasn't been enough real time to even digest all of it, I think. And I haven't seen anything really speculated other than what they've put out. I don't know if anyone really cares either, right? Like that's also telling to me, like, all right, Graham's out, new guy's in. No one really cares. Again, the team's at the bottom of the pack. We know they're struggling, fighting to just finish races. So, maybe no one cares. Maybe Graeme wasn't the guy. But some of the reasons that they were getting, Dan gave was like, did you check with PR before you said these things? Because
it didn't sit well with me.
Oh, this was a planned exit, and then but then you said like it was only your decision.
Yeah. And Bukowski reportedly had never been to he'd never been to the facility, for instance.
Well, because he was like, well, God forbid he shows up to the facility, then
cloak and dagger. Yeah,
and
of course.
It just all seems really shady. Again, and then with everything happening with TWG at the same time, it's like, come on, man. So here's something else I'll say. Sometimes things can be very benign, and they could be done for all great reasons, but for timing's sake and just for like optics, you start to think and you start to wonder. And with the advent of the internet, which I'll agree with Dan on this, with the internet and with how fast information moves these days, maybe it was best to kind of keep it under wraps and then just do it. But yeah, it all feels weird. Again, I don't really have much of a comment because I just don't know. I don't know how I really feel about it. I don't know that I care that much. I'm like, if you guys were performing and it was like affecting something, you and I have the benefit of knowing some folks on the team too, and having conversations with them and knowing how things are very scrappy, startup-y right now. It's like, it doesn't shock me, so I'm not looking deeper into it. If it was shocking, if it was like, oh my God, this is crazy, then maybe, like, okay, we'll dig into it. But I just haven't had that interest right now because
it's not like firing Andrea Stella for sure. Like the team isn't like at the top, it's not top team. I just think that to something you said earlier, I don't think it's great for like stability, morale. And maybe I'm being a little naive here, but I think there's something to be said about like gratitude. Like the guy brought you to here. Like it's kind of like dance with the one that brung you. Like really in the next 11 races, what did you think you were going to accomplish with a new guy? He certainly wouldn't cost less than Graeme Lowdon. Let me tell you that much.
I don't think the intention is that, or the thought process here is, oh, we're going to do better. Something had to have happened.
Yeah.
Because I don't even think they posted like a thank you Graeme type thing.
No, nothing. And Graeme hasn't said anything. So that's why those rumblings of Marston pitching himself to GM and GM kind of buying into Project Marston.
It's possible, but how do you change
I don't know.
How do you change a project mid-season? How do you change a project mid-project? It's like you were already building the plane as you're trying to land it.
Yep, as they were saying.
And now it's like, oh yeah, we're going to change the guy as leading the project while we're coming down and building it at the same time. You know,
That's
like,
why it just seemed like
okay.
crazy. Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
So
we could, well, hopefully we find out a little bit more in the weeks to come about what the plan is, what the goals are, what some metrics that they're hoping to achieve with Marson. And it would just be great to have some information overall, just to satiate our curiosity, I guess.
So speaking of metrics, and this is before we get into this topic, because I think this might this one is of interest to me, and I've been defending this topic quite a bit.
Ooh, I wonder
online.
what it is.
This is the Business of Speed live show. I'm Vincenzo Landino, Lali Mikkelsen, co-host here. This is our first live show that we've done. We thank you for tuning in and listening to us talk about all things motorsport, business of motorsport, because that's what we do. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, please share. This will be a weekly show, so come back and tune in for more. Topic at the top of the show that we had talked about was the Apple numbers, or the Formula One numbers for viewership in the United States. There was a chart that went out in the USA Today. It was based on numbers by Samba, which is a third-party tracking company. It's like Nielsen, but they're not. The drop off was tremendous. I wish if I knew how to show I don't know how to use this.
We are learning, tool, so but we will.
Yeah, I'll figure out how to show the slide another time for another show. But I made a video about it. There's plenty of content that's out there. The chart showed a 68% drop off for the Miami race, 66% drop off for Monaco. Every race had some sort of double-digit decline in this sample from Samba. Now, Samba tracks at the TV level.
Yeah.
So, from what I have gathered and the folks I've talked to, shout out to my buddy Nick Cicero, who owns Mondo Metrics. This is also what they do. The Samba metrics are apparently coming from the television. So if your television is not connected to the internet and you're using an Apple TV device, I don't believe theoretically you're counted. But also you can opt out of these things as well.
Okay.
So it's
but wait, if you're Apple
service.
So in Canada, it's different because we don't have the Apple TV deal. So explain something to me. The Apple isn't, by definition, if your watch, isn't it has to be connected to the internet because through the Apple device?
Well, so I'm actually speaking specifically of the television itself, the set itself. So now there's we have smart TVs. If your smart TV, like my smart TV, is not connected to the internet.
You bypass the internet and you only connect the Apple TV box to it.
I only have my Apple TV box connected, and that's the only way I use the internet. The smart TV here in my office, in my studio, I only have a Roku box connected to it. The television itself is not connected. From what I have read about Samba metrics, they are reading at the television set level.
Okay.
So they're not. Also, in addition to all of that, Apple TV is notoriously challenging and difficult for these third-party tracking tools to get their code into to begin with.
Because they don't want it. Because they don't want the number.
Well, they don't want it. They don't want it, and I don't blame them. But so there's all of that to caveat the difference. The sample size was pretty small from what I was reading. Not a large sample size, but what they basically did was they just extrapolated from their small sample size, which is how, these things are done. And they just said, oh, look, it's down 68%. Now, if we do other math, there's about 20 million supposedly subscribers to Apple TV from some numbers I've seen. There's ESPN. ESPN can be accessed by something like 65 million households. So just by that number alone, those are just raw numbers. That would make up about a 68%, 70%.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
But that would just mean that everybody was watching on ESPN and now everybody's watching on Apple. I don't buy that.
Yeah.
So anyway, Apple has come out during their half-year review, and they've said that the total US hours watched is up
Yes.
13%.
Yeah, because they say people are
Um,
watching twice as long
mhm,
and watching more races. Yeah.
Samba itself found that average minutes watched per household was up 127% for Australia, up 113% for Monaco. Um, it also the Samba numbers estimated that 30% of F1 viewers had not used Apple TV in the second half of 25.
Okay.
So if 30% of the viewers didn't have Apple TV, this goes back to something I've been preaching right from day one. The Apple F1 deal was beyond viewer ratings. If you look at what Apple wants, what do they want? They want subscribers. They
Yeah.
want you to come into their ecosystem, subscribe, and then
Yeah.
they want to be able to feed you with content for the entire week. They want you to go to the gym and listen to Yuki Tsunoda's playlist or whatever, Isaac
Yeah.
Hadjar's
Yeah.
playlist. They
Totally.
want you to pull up your map and interact with, the Formula One track. They want you to be in, use the sports app to track your favorite drivers. It's a very different play than just we need more eyeballs on the TV. What Fox doesn't have or ESPN doesn't have is this the hard this hardware. They have an app on here, but they don't have this hardware. This is where they have Formula One or Apple has an entire operating system, and
Yeah.
now they're dedicating space on their operating system to Formula One. You open the App Store, you see Formula One. You open Apple TV, the app, you see Formula One. You open, like I said, the music or the maps or health, the fitness. You get workouts with, whoever. You see Formula One. That's something that you can't track and you can't bank on being an immediate like, the viewership's up or viewership's
Yeah.
down.
I do feel like it's great for Apple. I don't know how great it is for Formula One specifically and growing its audience, right?
In
So
year one, it's definitely going to be hard. Yeah, for sure.
I trust me, I see all the business upside for Apple for sure,
Mhm.
because the diehard fan who is left with no other option is going to subscribe to Apple TV. The diehard fan, maybe even the average fan. Is it great for getting, again, new eyeballs on the sport? Probably not, because if you don't already have an Apple TV subscription, will it be enough for you to subscribe if you're just like
Mm.
a casual fan, as Stefano Domenicali likes to call them? I don't know. And like for instance, again, that only applies to US, but it matters because that's where they're in growth mode, right? There are 3 races now.
Yeah.
That is sort of their untapped market, that they're really wanting to tap.
Yeah.
So it is germane to the conversation because that's where it matters. I don't know. I have and we can talk about this too, about the Formula E
Yeah.
going to Disney Plus. So I have this thing that I wanted to talk to you about, where I'm kind of hating right now the fact that we all have to have all these subscriptions to all these things if we want to watch what we enjoy watching. So now
I mean, you are not alone.
if I want to watch Formula E, I don't have a Disney Plus subscription. So now if I want to follow Formula E, you're telling me now I have to subscribe to Disney Plus. Like, so it gets me a little bit like perhaps annoyed with the series that now you're forcing me to buy this thing just so I can watch your thing. Plus I need the Apple TV one if I'm in the US to watch Formula One. And that it just, I don't know. I don't love it that these series are making these
Mm.
deals with these companies that are forcing your audience to purchase a subscriptions to something that perhaps they wouldn't otherwise. And I know that like IMSA, who we love, obviously this is not feasible for every series. Like we can watch the races free on YouTube on the IMSA channel, right? Which is
Yep. Well,
amazing.
you can, yeah.
How long will they do that? Who knows? At some point, maybe it just won't make sense financially or commercially for them. But right now, you
Mhm.
can. And I'm not saying that F1 and Formula E, which are the two that I'm using an example, have to do something like
Yeah.
that. But with the announcement of the Formula E deal going to Disney Plus, I was like, man, like I don't want to buy Disney Plus. I just don't. And now
Yeah.
you're forcing me to if I
Well,
want to follow your series. So I don't know. It's kind of getting
so
annoying.
I'm going to add to this just for context of numbers, because I think it is very important. There's 130 to 150 million subscribers of Disney Plus, which is a significant number. ESPN Plus, because it's also, so Formula E will also be on ESPN Plus, is another 24, let's call it 25 million. So it puts them in front of an audience that they definitely want to reach. Now, there's plenty of packages out there that give you Disney and Hulu and ESPN. Again, they're all owned by Disney anyway. So it's like, it's one big happy family. Where I think the series want to lean on, again, yes, the viewership matters. I'm not going to say it doesn't. I've been raked over the coals the last day or so because I've made comments on this. People are like, you're just a bootlicker for Stefano Domenicali, which is not the case at all. I've been very critical of Stefano Domenicali. I've been very critical of a lot of the things.
Ain't nobody a business of speed, bootlicking Domenicali,
F1
let me tell you.
No. And like, no. I give them a lot of credit for the things they've done, but I also can question a lot of the things that they're doing.
No, of course.
Specifically with the product on track. But let's go back to this Disney, your concern. It goes back to the viewership versus culture conversation. Nobody knows about Formula E. No one cares about Formula E. Let's be real with that conversation. I don't talk to anybody who's like, oh my God, I can't wait to watch the Formula E race this weekend. Do you?
No.
Okay. And that's not to say that I don't think it's a good series. That's not to say that I don't.
It's a great product, but I understand your point.
I think the product is fantastic.
We've
had Jeff Dodds on the show. They are trying to do things. They have a very tech forward audience. Like, they know who their audience is, and they're very dialed into that.
Yeah.
Jeff Dodds, the CEO, said they know their audience is skewing younger and younger. Well, Disney Plus is a great place to put it then.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it makes sense when you start to put all the pieces together. But also something Disney Plus gives them that they couldn't get on like a traditional deal is making it part of culture. Streaming culture, you can't take this from streaming culture. It is shaping how we watch and view, and the things that we like, our taste. Streaming is doing that now in today's world. Like, nobody, I don't want to, and again, I don't want to say nobody, but the audience that these series want to reach may or may not be, or still have a cable subscription. I don't have a cable subscription anymore.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. Yeah.
I only have streaming services. That's it. Now, can I still watch my local Fox, CBS, NBC?
Yeah. So how do you do that? Explain to me how you do that in the US. If you only do streaming, do you have like Peacock? Like, I know NBC has Peacock.
So I do have Peacock. I do have Paramount Plus because I watch Serie A soccer, and they carry exclusively the Serie A rights. So I have Paramount Plus, which gives me also CBS. I have Peacock. My wife watches shows on there. That gives me NBC.
Yeah. How do you get Fox, for instance, for IndyCar?
I don't know how do I get. Well, so Fox, I did have a YouTube TV subscription for Fox.
Okay, wow.
Which YouTube TV is like cable, but we actually dropped that off because we weren't using it enough, and it also, we just couldn't justify spending.
It's not. That's 4 subscriptions you just mentioned, and like,
I mean, I have them all. We've got the Netflix. We've got them all. We've got them all. Like,
yeah,
we are one of those households that has all of the subscriptions. Now, they're not all paid for individually. Some of them are included in, like, well, we have an Instacart subscription, or whatever. I'm just using that as
yeah, exactly.
Know. And that covers this thing. Oh, our Verizon service covers 2 other subscriptions.
Okay.
Oh, our Apple One covers Hulu. Like, there are some that are like that. So it's like trying to be smart about which ones we're getting, because they were all at one point, like, all of the services were trying to like throw you services like, oh, well, if you sign up to Instacart, or if you get the Instacart Plus, we'll also give you, I don't even know, Peacock, I think it was.
Yeah.
I was like, well, we're already using the Instacart and paying $100 a year for that. If they're going to give me free Peacock, yeah, I'll take it. Or I think it was like even Walmart did a deal. I don't have Walmart Plus or whatever it's called, but if you got Walmart Plus, yeah, if you got Walmart Plus, they gave you another. So it's like, this is where it's going. And I think the series needs to say, okay, at least for our next deal, which service gives us the most ability to tap into the culture that we want? Formula One feels very Apple-esque. Apple feels a little bit higher tier, a little bit more elevated than the other services, premium. So yeah, sure. Formula One being on Apple makes total sense. Also, Apple came with the money. Let's be real here. $750 million was more money than they were going to get anywhere else. By far. By $150 million a year just for the United States.
For context, I think ESPN was paying 90 just to give people the
ESPN was paying $0 for the longest time. And then the last few years of the deal, it was like 80 to 90 million. So no one was beating 150 million. Apple has the cash. Apple needed it more than Formula One needed it, for sure. But the other thing, that I think people kind of glaze over sometimes is that it's very hard to justify some of these streaming services if you don't have a reason to keep coming back, right? And binging has caused that, because you can go on, I can binge Game of Thrones, and then I'm done, right? Like, I'm done.
I'm guilty. Sometimes I'll subscribe for the thing for the month, or even for the free week. I'll binge, cancel, boom. I'm going to be honest. I've done that many a time.
But there's nothing wrong with that, because they're banking on that.
Okay.
Right. They know that you aren't going to stick around. So that's, first of all, I think that's why the prices go up. I think that's why, what I'm going to say is, that's why these streaming services are all trying to get live sports.
True.
Because live sports
keep you coming back, baby.
I have Paramount only because it is the only way. Again, there are other services I could purchase or whatever. Paramount Plus allows me to watch my Serie A soccer games every weekend.
Yeah. Vincenzo and I maybe something you guys don't know. Vincenzo's very much into Serie A, like very, very hardcore, lifelong
Shout out to Paulo Dybala in Roma. We that was a very good start to our season. But
there you go. And I'm an
without
English
live
League
sports,
fan, so
yes, big Liverpool girl over there. I should have said Arsenal just to get you mad.
No, are you crazy? Don't even talk
I
to
know.
those Gunners. Sorry. Please keep listening to us.
But yeah, so live sports is what keeps people coming in. Yeah. So there's this mutually beneficial relationship between the series that need the audience they want, which arguably more and more people are doing streaming, right? More and more. And then the streaming services, they need a reason for people to keep their service past that 1 month that they're going to sign up and then quit, just like you said. What is the reason I'm going to keep this service in August? I was like trying to think when we're in August, but also keep it in March.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, if Formula One is tied to this and this is the only way I can watch Formula One, well, I guess I have no choice but to sign up to Apple.
Yeah, it's not worth the hassle to cancel it for 2 months, right? And then re-up it.
It's a no-brainer, right?
No-brainer.
And so,
yeah,
I think it just gets. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I understand the business case for sure, and you explain it really, really beautifully for everyone. It's just, I think it's more like on a personal level, it just irks. Even hearing you say all the subscriptions you have, like that, probably in the end we're paying so much more than we ever paid for our monthly cable bill, right? Like we've come to that.
100%.
Like 100%. We've come to that point. So it's just like more of a human irk, but I appreciate that that's the way of the world now. That's how it's going to be. We're not going back. We've what is it? We've opened Pandora's box in so many ways, right? So now there's no coming back. Like cable TV is not making some like wonderful comeback, right? That's not a thing that's going to happen. So I appreciate we have to embrace it. It's just more like, oh man, another subscription. Like I don't want, so. And for people who are, let's say, families who are like are on tight budgets and things, they really have to think about now. And then I do like that you said that Disney's the one that most people have, because a lot of people with children will have Disney, and they also have many shows for adults as well. So then it does make sense for Formula E to have done the deal with them, because it's already in the most households. So if you and I were going to sell our show to someone, well, wouldn't it be great to put it on the one that has the most eyeballs already, or is in the most homes? So that as a business case. I do have quickly some breaking news about Madring that I've just come across my desk. La FIA Formula 3 termina su test en Madring. So right now, 2 hours ago, Formula 3 finished their tests on the track for our friends from Turn 14 who were wondering. Los pilotos ya saben de lo que es capaz ese circuito. So the drivers know what the circuit is about. They've tested it. It's perfect. It's done. So we've got liftoff at Madring. No coming back now. So that answers all the questions. That was posted just 2 hours ago by the circuit. So,
well, there you go.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, I think they had something like they had tons of, red flags and issues, but I mean, it's a new track, and like, what do you expect?
It's like, come on.
And it's also like, I don't know what it's Formula 3. It's come on. This is why context matters. I hate when people judge something without context, and I don't want to I still want to keep going into this conversation a little bit more about the numbers, because I think it's between the Formula 1 numbers, Formula E, and Disney, I think all of these things are important. But it's when you look at how the series need to function and how much money it takes for a global series to operate, logistics alone, and then logistics for each team, and then putting on these massive events. I mean, these are these events. Like if you've never been to any race, not even just Formula 1, IndyCar, IMSA races, WEC races, any race, there's a lot that goes into it from a safety perspective, hospitality perspective, fan experience. We know directly from working with T-Mobile at the Las Vegas Grand Prix last year, just the fan experience, the portion of the fan experience that they are in charge of. And you'd think like, T-Mobile, what do they have to do with the fan experience? Well, when you go and scan in your tickets, because when you get there, that's got to be connected somewhere. That's all on a dedicated connection network provided by T-Mobile, Verizon, whoever it is. At the Las Vegas Grand Prix, specifically T-Mobile, and that's just one aspect. Like, we saw the behind the scenes with T-Mobile and the thing, T-Mobile for Business, and what not only fan experience, but they're also in charge of the emergency services and the safety.
I was going to say, talk about that, Vince, because that was really interesting to me, guys. Imagine you have hundreds of thousands of people all connected to the same network, right? And there's an emergency and you need to call 911, or there's a crash and we need to get a helicopter stat and extract the driver. So talk to that, Vince, how that is so important, the T-Mobile aspect, that they can connect to 911 and they can do those things.
Yeah. So I got a behind the scenes look at, actually talked to the deputy sheriff, and we went to we saw they've got this massive command center. It's this big truck, emergency services truck. I mean, this thing, you probably couldn't, Twister couldn't take it. The thing is huge. It actually has arms that will bolt it into the ground. It's cool. Massive antenna. They have Starlink backup, but they're providing dedicated connection. There's a dedicated network just for emergency services.
I love that.
So emergency services, now you're thinking especially in a city like Las Vegas, it's a very large circuit, right? It's taking up a very large, it's in the city.
The footprint, guys, is gigantic.
The footprint is massive. The dedicated network. Emergency services knows that they are going to have connection anywhere they are on the circuit to communicate back with anyone. They've got drones in the air. They've got helicopters. They've got the on the ground patrols. That's just one. This is just one tiny aspect of the logistics that go into, why are we bringing this up? Why are we bringing up Las Vegas? What does that have to do with all the stuff we're talking about? What it has to do with is someone's got to pay for all of this.
Exactly.
The money has to come from somewhere. I just named one aspect of one aspect. That doesn't even include the time, the money to pay those police and emergency service people to be on standby all weekend or all week. That's just the logistics that go into the connection. And then there's the fan experience portion, right? They provide the connection there. Well, there's other aspects of that and fan experience. What does all this matter? When you look at that and you realize how much money it costs to run these events, and then you're going to rake Formula One or IndyCar, whoever, over the coals for hosting an event or for partnering with a service that offered them the most bang for their buck, do you really care about the series? Do you really care about the sport at that point? Like, it's imperative to understand that there are dollars that have to go somewhere, and these dollars need to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
If you, the fan, doesn't want to incur people already complain that costs are going up. Imagine what they would look like if it wasn't subsidized by all the sponsorship that you see.
It'd be
Also,
it's already cost prohibitive for a lot of people. It would be cost prohibitive for 100% of people.
It would only be the elite, and that would be across all race series.
Yeah.
You know, people are like, "Oh, IMSA is great because I can go down on I can go and I have all this access." Yeah, sure. If there was no sponsors on any of that stuff, see if you'd have the same experience. You wouldn't. You wouldn't. It's impossible.
I think that's something that is so different in motorsport. It's so sponsor driven, right? It's so uniquely sponsor driven. And we've talked about this in the past, how when I had to rent a truck once, I purposely sought out a Penske truck because I was so loyal to them, because they like sponsored a series that I love for so long. Like when you see companies putting money into something that you love, you are more inclined to want to put your dollars in that company because they're sponsoring, they're helping, they're promoting something that you love. And I think that more and more, as we have more and more choice, and prices are pretty similar, right? A lot of big companies, whether it's in telecom or air travel, hotels, etc., they're all sort of price matching each other for the most part, right? Like unless you're going to quite a tier up. So when the prices are very similar, the experience is similar, the product is very similar, what's the next thing that you use, the quantifiable metric that you use to choose a company to give your dollars to? For a lot of diehard sports people, it will be a company who sponsors a series, a team, a driver, an athlete that you love. It becomes that becomes actually a decision-making metric, believe it or not, when all things are said and done. So so to be involved in these series and to help these series is not only beneficial to everyone, it ends up being also in the end, in the back end, beneficial to them, because now we associate T-Mobile with F1. That's a great connection for them. We associate American Express with Formula One. For me, I associate American Express with concerts. I'm a huge concert goer.
Sure.
And they're big in the concert thing. So I have an affinity to American Express for nothing else, and because I can buy tickets a day or two earlier than everybody else, and likely at a venue near me, there's going to be an Amex lounge that I can enter. So I'm grateful to that company for sponsoring things. So that becomes a metric that matters to people.
I mean, motorsport is so uniquely, you said sponsor driven. It's any of the, like, if you just think about like the famous liveries that you think of Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon, you think of Ayrton Senna, Marlboro, John Player Special. Yeah, there you go. I have it right there. I haven't built it yet. But you look at that kind of stuff and you're just like, you talk about the sponsor as if it was part of the team.
Yeah.
Like that's how intertwined it is. So I like to encourage people to take a step back before you complain about the dollars, to think about all the things that you would have to pay for if sponsorship wasn't there.
Yeah, it's true.
And imagine if you were subsidizing the T-Mobile network at the Las Vegas Grand Prix, which is already, expensive as it is. Imagine if you also had to subsidize that cost if T-Mobile wasn't sponsoring it. They were providing it, but not sponsoring it. Like, imagine that. Like, it just, it blows me away. Anyway, yeah, wow.
Should we touch a little bit, because we've said his name enough today?
Yeah.
Should we touch a little bit on Stefano Domenicali? And
yeah, we should.
I have very strong,
take it away,
visceral opinion. So
I know you do. So I want to hear this.
I do want to preface this by saying that until not too long ago, like Stefano Domenicali is a legitimate fan of racing, very knowledgeable, and also a very legitimate businessman. I'll leave it at that. Like this is not some cuckoo bananas leader who, no, this is a legitimate person in motorsport, supremely well regarded.
I mean, listen, he ran Ferrari. He's been
Lamborghini, no, also like CEO of Lamborghini.
He knows he knows what he's doing.
He grew up Italian, like he's a lover of racing. And I think that I'll start with there. My main gripe right now with Stefano, not only the things he says and how he dismisses fans, and he thinks that we're all sort of uninformed, and that perhaps that it's easier to sell a product to people if they remain uninformed. I think that what bugs me the most currently is that this man is a legitimate racing fan, Vince. He knows.
Yeah.
He knows better than what he's peddling to us. So guess what? You put lipstick on a pig, what happens? It's still a pig, that famous American saying. So he can put lipstick on this pig. He can swing it however he wants. He can do whatever you need to do for your marketing purposes. But that doesn't mean that you need to alienate fans, not even just the lifelong diehards. That's what he refers us to. Even casual fans who want to learn about the sport and are getting more and more educated. I don't think we need to dismiss them. I don't need to, fans don't care about. Guess what? Fans care. What is it? There was something he said this week that fans think that clipping is a hair clip for women. This is what
he said most fans wouldn't even know what clipping is. They'll think it's used for your hair, like the exact quote or something like that.
Yeah. So that to me,
it takes a shot at a certain group of people, because I mean, as a man, I don't put a clip in my hair. So
who wears a clip? Me, because Becky with a good hair does this, so she puts a clip sometimes. But
hair's looking good today, by
thank you. You know, I try. Vincenzo coined me Becky with a good hair, and then I feel all this pressure to always have good hair because, like, I need to live up to the thing. So I think that the dumbing down of the fan that he wants to sort of dumb down is absolutely unacceptable to me. It's unacceptable. I think that the fact that they're already switching the formula for next year already speaks volumes. I don't think they've gone far enough. In fact, I think
I think a lot of that was the FIA stepping in, right? At some point, like pressure from the FIA, like we got to change something here.
And just like the I read something on Twitter. This is like no other leader of a sport could speak to the audience. Like I can't imagine somebody leading the Premier League thinking, oh, the fans don't care. They don't care about VAR. They don't care about. No, people care. Let me tell you, people care. And people don't want to be talked down to, and people and we want an educated fan base. So when you have drivers speaking out, when you have people so my gripe with him is this sort of, and I've used this word before and I'm going to use it again, the gaslighting that is occurring is tremendous. It's absolutely tremendous. It's quite unacceptable. And it shocks me from such an intelligent man who is such a known race fan. I think that's what gets me the most.
We had this conversation earlier off air. We were talking a little bit just, in our pre-production show, our pre-production meeting. And when you start, this quote first. What is it? About power corrupting. What the hell's the quote? You know the quote.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Right. Not saying he has absolute power, but along those lines, we had the conversation that when you get into a seat that you think you want, you don't necessarily, like when you're climbing the ladder and then you get to the seat that you've been kind of pining for, you sometimes forget all of the responsibility that comes with it. And you forget, good or bad. Mm-hmm. Well, Liberty Media is a public company. Formula One is public, like you have shareholders that you are responsible, fiduciary responsibility as a CEO. And this is not to defend Stefano, because I do think that a lot of the comments need to be like, again, where's like I said about Dan Towers, where's the PR team on this? Where's the communications team? Like, where are you guys? Because the heck. But and this is the truth, really. You're responsible to the shareholders for the stock to go up and to the right.
Yeah.
It's got to go up and to the right. There is no other direction that it needs to go in other than up and to the right. And now that's not to excuse the comments. That's not to excuse the things that he says, but it is to say that I acknowledge the fact that it goes beyond the on-track product at this point of where we're at.
Okay.
I do believe that good racing, great racing, is great spectacle. I hold that truth to be self-evident. The fact that we even have these conversations is testament to how much the sport has grown.
Yeah.
And the work they're doing behind the scenes. Right? Like the fact that we even have a show that we can talk about motorsport and people will watch and listen and brands will bring us out to races. Like the fact that there's that ecosystem is testament to how much things have grown.
Yeah.
And I think he's in a position where, yeah, I need to grow the sport. He's not in a position to call the fans dumb, which I think he has basically alluded to
But he
numerous
also is
times at this
playing
point.
dumb. Like there's a quote I have here. I want to read it to you. Quote,
Please.
they don't
Yeah.
understand. They don't understand our technology or clipping, shipping, or whatever it is, because it's too technical for the wider. He knows what it is. Don't say clipping or chipping. Like you're even playing dumb. Like, oh, it's too complicated, even almost for me, right? Like they don't care. No, you know exactly what it is, Stefano. You know it's clipping. You know it's super clipping. You know exactly what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So don't try to like involve yourself in the dumbing down of it. It's just not right. Like it's just not correct. And he thinks that people who don't like it are a tiny minority. I would disagree, just because we don't have numbers on that. And he says, oh, the Grand Prix are sold out. Guess what? Those Grand Prix sell out a year in advance. So those Grand Prix were sold out based on numbers on people, because you plan. If you and I were going to go to Spa, it's not a last minute decision, right? We have to get the tickets because tickets sell out. We have to get a hotel. You're not going to find anywhere to stay if you don't decide on this trip a long time in advance. So Grand Prix are sold out because they've sold out from last year. It has nothing to do with what's happening this year. The Grand Prix of next year will be sold out based on this year's racing, right? So I just think that I just think overall, I don't like that we're trying to perhaps in his viewpoint speak to the lowest common denominator, so to speak. I don't think that's cool, because I've always said the people who are going to stay with you once the hype wears out, once it's in vogue, it's so what is
us.
it? What's the thing now? Isn't it chic when, or that thing you see on Instagram all day now?
Isn't
Like
it chic? Yeah.
it's so chic or whatever. Like right now, it's so chic. Like I have a friend I noticed who one of like cousin Andrew, who doesn't know a NASCAR from a Formula One, and she follows Carlos Sainz on Instagram. And the only reason I noticed because I came across a thing and she had liked it, and I'm like, okay, I'm surprised she even knows who Carlos Sainz is, but okay. So when that fan fades, who's gonna be left behind at 1 a.m. watching a Grand Prix? It's us.
Yeah.
So how about you take care of us a little bit, Stefano? How about you show us some love? Because we've been here before, we're here now, and we're gonna be here after.
He also had made the comments earlier in the season about shorter clips on YouTube and fans watching shorter clips instead, right? As to why like sprint races were going to be added, because attention spans are shorter and people don't want to watch, can't watch these races. And first of all, it's live sports. I will sit there and watch the Pittsburgh Steelers. I will watch Roma. If that thing takes, 4 hours, I am glued for 4 hours. There's no
extra time, both halves, penalty kicks, the whole thing. We're there for 5 hours.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, you put me in for if the Italian national team is playing, like I'll sit there for 3 weeks if that's how long the game took. Like it's so to say attention spans are shorter. No, attention spans for bullshit are shorter. So if I'm watching something where the officiating or the stewarding is not consistent and it changes from week to week, or the same call that went one way for one driver this week changes the following week, There's unexplicable lapping of the safety car for certain drivers. Like all of that stuff adds up, and it's not to say that we're stupider or that we are our attention spans are shorter. It's to say I don't have the patience for this because I have a billion other subscriptions I'm paying for and a billion other things that I can be watching and a billion other sports that don't treat me like that, that at least publicly, right? That I could go spend my time doing, or I've got kids to go hang out with, or I've got work I could be doing, or I have
book to read,
the
whatever
beach
it
to go
is.
to, or book tour, whatever. We don't want to hear that from the leaders.
I don't want to. I don't want to.
Yeah,
exactly.
We want to hear that we want you to bow down to us, the fan, to the point where you realize that without us, you have nothing. And it's a two-way street. I get it. But ultimately, we just want good racing. We want, for Formula One, we want, cars that are loud and that sound like Formula One cars. I don't need another car to sound like another Formula E car because that's what Formula E is for. I don't need another sprint race just because, quite frankly, the sprint race thing is because they just need more stuff to sell, right? They're not selling Friday because Friday's practice day. You're only getting the diehards.
I think I'm the only diehard who likes sprint races. And I think it's only because I just like racing so much that I get an extra race in a weekend. So I don't mind it because I get more cars on track.
I don't not like sprint races. I think it's a disservice to the teams because now you'll have one session to practice.
Completely
you jump right into a qualifying session for this sprint. Then you go into a sprint race followed by a qualifying session for the race. You've spent really little to no time with your car on track to develop, understand, whatever it might be. So I think it's a disservice. Regardless of that, I don't.
And the guys and gals are already overworked in those teams, right? At those race weekends. So I do feel you on that. So I'm being selfish.
I don't hate the races. Again, it's like if it was done a different way, maybe like it goes down differently. But with all of the, if the reason is you're doing more sprint races because you think that people don't want to watch a full length race, like that's dumb to
I
me.
don't think it's
it doesn't make
sense. Yeah, I don't.
But again, also they think that's why all the clips. Oh, we've got all these clips are doing well on YouTube because people aren't watching full race. It's like, no, because you have people that aren't subscribing at all and paying you. Yeah, sure, they're gonna go watch the free highlight,
obviously
30-minute highlight. Like it's not.
But also, if you have a clip if you have a clip of like a hedgehog crossing the F1 track and a car almost hitting it, that's also going to get 1 million views because it's just fun to watch. Like people are interested. Correct. So I have a funny thing that happened to me, completely unrelated to racing, but you'll see why it's a little bit related. So last night, the Toronto Blue Jays were hosting the Kansas City Royals, and I'm watching this game, and I didn't think anything could trigger me in this game. Nothing could trigger me until one of the batters came up for the Kansas City Royals. And it turns out his name is Michael Massey. And I was like, what in the world?
How'd that do for you?
I you know how I get just at the thought of the name, and like Vincenzo makes so much fun of me. He's like, get over yourself. He says, get over yourself. It's been 5 years. I cannot get over myself. But it was such a crossing of the worlds to see this batter, Michael Massey, show up for the Kansas City Royals. So shout out to him, and change your name, bro.
Change your name, bro.
Change your name, broski. I did tell my friend who I was with that the Lorde song Royals is about the Kansas City Royals, and we'll never be Royals. That song is about the Kansas City Royals, which a lot of people don't know.
Is it actually?
Yes, this is a true fact. I am spewing here.
I did not know this.
Were you like 1:47 p.m. days old on August 26th when you found out? This is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I am now a new understander of wow.
There you go. That's a fun fact for everyone who didn't know. The Lorde song Royals is about the Kansas City Royals.
By the way, can we two things before we go into this? Did you see this crazy video of a flash flood hitting the Nepal-Tibet border?
Absolutely have not. No.
Oh my God. There's like a live street cam of this massive like wave just
Hundreds missing
holy
and many
cow.
feared dead after
Oh my God.
catastrophic flash flood hits Nepal China border.
Oh my God. It's insane. Like it is. Holy cow.
Listen, there's been a lot of natural things. I'll speak quickly
Oh,
of this. We had in Colombia just a few weeks ago a very bad earthquake that was extremely devastating, extremely devastating. Venezuela had one before us. Now this, like, there's a lot of sort of um, catastrophic natural things happening right now that are obviously way more important than
wow.
racing. This looks pretty awful. So hearts goes out to these
Yeah.
people.
Hearts go out. Wow. This, geez, it almost feels weird talking about
Yeah, it's like and
racing.
I think that that's part of it. Like at the end of the day, it is a sport, right? And anyone
Mm,
involved in this, and particularly the drivers will tell you that they're so lucky that they get to do that for a job. And you hear this like footballers when they're like, I grew up playing football with my buddies on the street just for fun after school. I'm so lucky that I get to
mm,
play in the Premier League or Serie A. Like that no one's
yeah.
solving childhood pediatric cancer here, right? So we have these strong opinions, and we get I can get very worked up about certain things, of course, but clearly in the big picture
Mm,
of things, when faced upon human tragedy of this magnitude, it's nothing. We're very lucky that we even have something like this to entertain us. So just putting that in perspective.
yeah, for sure.
Let's talk about the
Um,
weeks to come in racing. Just going back to our shallow talk, we have, you said, Milwaukee
for
doubleheader
sure.
this
Well,
week.
yeah, Milwaukee coming up. We'll see if Palo can get back on the giddy up.
Oh, we believe in Palo, and then so just so guys know, this week we have two in Milwaukee, and then the following week we go to Laguna Seca for the IndyCar finale, and then IndyCar's over until probably March or April of next year, whenever St. Petersburg, Florida is. And then we have a race that is near and dear to your heart in Formula One coming up in
The
10 days.
Festival of Speed. Yeah. Monza.
Monza
Home
coming
race
up.
for the boys in Scarlet. Yeah,
And also a little bit
I'm
for
just not super. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say a little bit home race for the Racing Bulls too. No, they're in Faenza. They're in Italy.
Yeah. I mean, if you consider that, but
Okay.
no one's ever going to give them that credit.
No, no, no.
I
I'm just
think,
kidding.
I think, yeah. I mean, this regulation set does not bode well for Monza. I think if Spa was bad, Monza is going to be horrible. It's just still not there with the regulation set. I think we just have to suck it up and deal with it for this year and hope that whatever changes come in the off season make it better. But I think this race could really just be neutered by the regulations. I don't. It's supposed to be fast. It's supposed to be this is supposed to be the temple of speed, and it's going to be the temple of reharvesting. And
Well, you're probably happy that our friends at Ferrari are gonna have an engine upgrade, so that will be.
well, speaking of engine upgrades, so I was going to say, did you see the new engine? The ADUO
Yeah,
came
oh,
out.
for Red Bull. Yeah, I saw that. Yes, yes,
Well, for
yes.
everybody, for the
For
whole
everybody, yeah.
ADUO
Yeah. I saw that. That came
came
across.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the FIA announced it, the results. It looks like, well, first of all, Red Bull was top
Number one.
engine, so
Yeah.
they don't get anything, which is actually quite. I'm going to read a stat to you after I say this. Mercedes gets 2 to 4%. They also get an additional upgrade in 2026 and 2027. Audi, Ferrari, Honda are they get 4% plus 2 additional upgrades for 26 and 27. Red Bull was determined to be the best combustion engine and gets no upgrades, which does not bode well for them at all because they were not in that. So, like I said, basically what they deem is that Red Bull's the most powerful.
Yeah.
Mercedes is somewhere within 2% to 4% behind, and then Audi, Ferrari, and Honda are over 4% behind the Red Bull. this is the crazy stat I read from F1 guy Dan Valente, who's also in Toronto, I believe. The Mercedes power unit has been responsible for 10 of 12 wins, 83% this season, 12 of 12 poles, 23 of 36 podiums, 605 of 745 laps led, and yet they still are not deemed the most powerful.
Isn't that crazy?
If that doesn't tell you how smart Total Wolf is, I don't know what else does, because you know for a fact they have it turned down purposely. Now they get upgrades. They get an upgrade. Red Bull gets nothing, and you know that the Mercedes is. I think the Mercedes is the most powerful.
Yeah,
and they're going to upgrade. So anyway, there's always that strategy going on. There's always those games being played. Like, this is the kind of stuff that I love. But yeah, so
I just
shout out to Mercedes.
I want to take a second, and because I did have some notes here about this, and bear with me, because I don't want to assume that everybody knows what ADUO is, so I'm just going to spend a second maybe explaining it to people. ADUO, ADUO, is additional development and upgrade opportunities. It's an F1, it's an engine catch-up mechanism. So I have some notes here. The FIA measures each manufacturer's internal combustion engine against the strongest engine. So in this case, it's Red Bull. If an engine is at least 2% behind, its manufacturer receives additional opportunities to develop and homologate upgrades. The farther behind it is, the more assistance it can receive. It applies to the power unit manufacturer, not an individual team, or overall speed of the car. So obviously this was meant because it's a whole new engine PU regulation, right? So if somebody nailed it and another team didn't, you could see how over the years that would compound. They'd be so far behind that we would have a situation where it's just not competitive. The same team would be winning and winning and winning, right? So it does kind of make sense if anybody got it fundamentally wrong, it would give them the opportunity to catch up, to make strides, to improve. And then the one who's the benchmark obviously doesn't, because everyone else is being benchmarked to that engine, to that power unit. Just explaining that a little bit for the people who weren't super sure, because in the beginning, when that acronym first came out, even I was like, wait, what are we talking about? So just putting it out there. And Toto Wolff is a crafty wolf, because somehow something's working over there. Like,
hungry like the wolf. Is that how the song goes? Yeah, smart. I mean, just, these are things that go into what you do and don't see, and this is what the fans that were being that Stefano Domenicali will say, oh, they don't care about this kind of stuff, but we do, and it matters, and it matters for what the on-track product looks like at the end of the day.
And it also matters to, like, I do think that Vincenzo and I have something that we both really enjoy. It's like, and we spoke about this with IndyCar in general, it's like educating people. Like when I talk to someone out on the street, friends at a dinner party or whatever, and I talk to them, I love explaining to people things. I love, because then you get more buy-in. If you're explaining things, if you're educating a fan, you're more likely to get buy-in than just watch, it's good. Like, no one wants to watch because it's good. But if you're sort of educating the people on why and explaining it to them, they sort of catch on to your enthusiasm. When I was on my lovely Aussie girls from the Formation F1 podcast, I was telling them, you have to go watch the last 20 laps of the race in Markham, the IndyCar race in Markham. There was a top 5 guys. Anybody could have won that race. You didn't know what was going to happen with 5. Like, I gave them a reason to go watch. And it felt so good to get people who've never seen anything in IndyCar say, as soon as we're done recording, we're going to go look up on YouTube those laps. Get people excited about something. And I know you and I are both sort of passionate about getting fans excited, getting people to watch these series that we love, because we love them. And we know that if they give it a chance, they're going to love them too.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I think if people give motorsport a chance, it changes them. It just changes their opinion, right? Like, and attending races is really important. I would say, don't make Formula One necessarily the pinnacle of what you want to go watch. Like, there's so many other great motorsports out there. that give you the access that you desire and give you the sound you desire that aren't necessarily Formula One. I mean, I love Formula One.
Love it.
Change my mind. Like, it's not changing my mind. I just think that for anybody who's out there who's like, motorsport's kind of boring, like, go to a race, go check it out, and
go check out an IMSA race. Like, go see that community that they've built. Seriously, they're spectacular. Go check out an IMSA race.
The V10s, the V8s that are cruising around are like incredible. So we are coming up on the 2-hour mark. That is going to be it for our show today. This has been the Business of Speed live with Vincenzo Landino and
Lali Mikkelsen.
We also have a podcast, the Business of Speed podcast, where we interview movers, shakers, team principals, media personalities in the world of motorsport. We talk about pretty much everything and anything. Legends of motorsport. We've talked to, Mario Andretti, Mark Blundell, Alwyn Springer, just absolute legends. But we've also spoken to people like Will Buxton and James Hinchcliffe, who's also a driver, Connor Daly. That's our podcast, Business of Speed. You can also check us out, bizofspeed.com. That's our newsletter, which goes out weekly. Actually, it goes out twice weekly. We have Capital Moves written by Lali, which is a fantastic series profiling people in motorsport that, beyond their motorsport life, what are they doing? And then we have our newsletter, which usually tackles a few different topics every week around the world of motorsport business. So if any of that intrigues you, please go sign up to the Business of Speed World. It's like our MCU. It's like our BCU, the Business of Speed Cinematic Universe. Until next time, like I said, I'm Vincenzo. That's Lali. We will see you on the next one.
Ciao for now.
Ciao for now, Pascal.